Match number 3 would see a tag team match as CPW tag team Waste Management, Paul and Barry Vile were coming out with Kevin. Would take on CXW Originals and Essex Rescue favourites, The Rebellion. That's right, Jack Torino and Taylor James were in the house. As normal to start the match, the Rebellion would play a game of rock, paper, scissors, and we'd see Torino and Paul start the match. To start anyway. Taylor James would soon find himself inside. It's just that, and then Paul would find himself, being spanked by Jack Torino. What a way to start the match. Early exchange of holds. Paul would look for some early chops. Jack Torino would hit the shoulder charge to send him flying, and then Taylor James would come in and lay down some chops on Paul. Oh, I love a Taylor James chop. Absolutely love a Taylor James chop. One of the best in the business. Barry would come in and hit a double axe handle on Taylor James. Then Jack Torino would come in and there'd be double teams. Just double teams galore in this one. Jack Torino would then hit some chops. I love his chops. And he'd hit a double chop on Barry. Just those chops, they have to hurt. All four would be in at this time. The Rebellion would hit some old school arm drags off the ropes, walk along the ropes. Beautiful arm drags on Waste Management. Waste Management would be outside the ring, and Rebellion would dive out through the ring, and the fans would grab hold of Barry as Taylor James would start to chop down. Rebellion would hit a Poetry in Motion drop kick on Barry for a 2 count. Kevin, at this point, would grab hold of Jack Torino, and Paul would interfere, and Barry would hit the mule kick. Waste Management would hit a lariat and a spine buster for a 2 count. Paul would then work over Torino at this point, hitting a nasty Irish whip, and a double choke on him. Barry would carry on wearing him down, hit a big suplex. Torino would finally fight off Waste Management, hit a fall away slam on Barry, and make the tag to Taylor James at this point, who'd come in on fire, hit an enziguri and a DDT on Waste Management, then hit a slingshot cutter and stunner at the same time on them. What a move that was, but only for 2. But it was a thing of beauty. Paul would start to fight back, and Waste Management would hit a double backbreaker on Jack Torino for a 2 count. Big boot. But Barry hits a big boot on Taylor James. And then Barry hit a Canadian Destroyer on Taylor James. Wow. Absolute thing of beauty. Wow. Just wow. Wow, Barry. Wow. I love a Canadian Destroyer. Jack Torino would hit an explosive superplex on Barry. At this point, all 4 men would start to trade off. Jack Torino would hit his beautiful explosive combo. You've got to be there to see it, with the buckle bomb, and then Taylor James would hit a kick. Jack Torino would hit the brain buster. Taylor James would hit a frog splash, and Jack Torino would hit the moonsault, but only for a 2 count, folks. I thought it was over at this point. I do not understand how Taylor James would wipe out Waste Management, but Kevin would get involved. Jack Torino would hit his... It's not even a spear. It's a spear. It's a spear. I've got to call it a spear because only one man can call it gore. Anyway, he would gore Kevin from the top, but Waste Management would roll up Jack Torino. Barry would have the trunks, and they would pick up the win. What an upset, folks! What an upset winning. Well, in my opinion, anyway. Wow. This one was just fantastic. What a tag team match, Waste Management held their own against one of the best in the country, as far as I'm concerned. I've seen the Rebellion up and down the country. That, it's very rare to not see one of them two seem to be on a card somewhere or another, and there's reasons why. They're fantastic. They're fantastic alone. They're even better together. The Rebellion are just a fantastic. I could watch them. I've never seen them in a bad tag team match. To be fair, just every time, wow, just every time, I love it. Jack Torino's so intense, so oh, just the girthy Rhino. He's definitely spicy, definitely spicy. Taylor James, just fantastic as always. Just so gifted in that ring. It's ridiculous. The pair of them are just, yeah. Onto Waste Management. Well, Waste Management, they held their own. They held their own. They certainly did. They gave their all. They did everything they needed to do to win this one. I was a bit disappointed I didn't see the trash compactor. However, you don't need to perform your finishing manoeuvre to win every time. And they picked up a very big victory. They, as I say, they held their own. They put on a good showing. They've got their manager that's willing to help them bend the rules, and that's exactly what you need of a heel team. They've also now got their intern as well, so they're well established, well on their way. If you get a chance to see any of these guys in action, you're going to be thoroughly entertained. Go have a good time. Go check them out live for yourselves.